reaction to the college admission scandal? Do you feel like those are parents that perhaps poured too much into their kids?
Okay,
well, look, you know what?
Let me hold on 1 minute, Steve. This is supposed to be about Disney Dreamers Academy. I'm gonna let you go and answer that, but we want what comes out of here to just go back to what the whole purpose of this is.
But you know what? In terms of that, it's really sad. You know,
it is,
especially coming from us in the celebrity business, who have these blessed lives, man. We have lives that really, come on, man. God give us lives we don't even really deserve. But your takeaway from having this life that you don't deserve is you gonna try to buy your child a life that he don't deserve. If your baby can't pass the SAT, what make you think he gonna pass all the tests at an Ivy League school?
all right.
If you'd have got me in Harvard, I couldn't have stayed there. Hell, I flunked out of Kent State. It was a state school. I went to college for 3 years. At the end of 3 years, I had 12 credits. I was a freshman. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of crazy, man. It's really sad that people do that. But you know, it's been, to be honest with you, it's been going on for years. It ain't just college.
That's right.
It ain't just college. Rich people been pimping the game for a whole lot of ways, man. Setting their kids up in opportunities that they ain't worked for. I got my sons in there right now. I don't give them nothing. You gonna hustle like your daddy did. I can't give you nothing. People know them my kids in there. Brandy on stage talking to the kids right now. People know when you done just gave your kids something they don't deserve to be there. I make my kids earn it. Brandy in there talking because that's what she do. That really is what she do. But my sons in there, they got jobs. They got jobs, work. I give them to my daughters, different story. I've spoiled my daughters.
Mr. Harvey, what would you say to parents who might not be feeling like they could still be dreaming? What are 3 steps? You talked about dreaming at 62 still. What are 3 steps would you say for adults?
Okay, here's the deal. When you stop dreaming, it's because your mind is consumed with negative thoughts. But you can actually coach your mind from negativity. I'm gonna give you the way it's done. If you want to stop, you know how you stop negative thoughts from becoming pervasive in your day? You know when you wake up in the morning, you think, man, I'm woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Or you ever heard people say, I'm not a morning person? How could you say that? When you probably gonna have to wake up again tomorrow. Why you would put that on yourself? I'm not a morning person. When morning is coming again tomorrow. So what happens to people is they allow negative thoughts to win out. But you can coach your mind from negative thoughts with gratitude. Gratitude coach your mind from negativity. It's a real simple little trick you gotta learn. Whenever you have negative thoughts, immediately stop yourself and go down the list of things you have to be grateful for. But see, what happens is you start tripping on what you ain't got and you lose sight of what you do have. Okay, good. None of us are where we want to be. All right, let's just all say that. Ain't none of us where we want to be. But guess what? Ain't you glad you ain't where you was? So now, you may not have the car you want, but ain't you grateful for the one you got? You may not be in the house of your dreams, but ain't you glad you got a key to a door that you can turn and call yours? Go down the list of everything you have to be grateful for. Your health, the fact that you have a job, the fact that you can walk, the fact that you have the ability to think, the fact that you still a family member, that your children are healthy. Guess what happens? The negativity is erased. Because at my mama's funeral, I learned the greatest lesson I've ever learned in my life. Because the preacher said something while my mom was laying up there in that box, and it was the worst day of my life. I never had a worse period. That week my mama died, I thought I was going to crumble. But my mama was a Sunday school teacher for 40 years. And me and my 2 brothers and sisters was on the front row. And all of us was just broken. And that pastor who had known my mama for years because she had taught Sunday school, he said, I know y'all broken right now, but I want y'all to turn around. I want y'all to see how packed this church is. He said, the overflow room that we have for service, that's full too. The sidewalk outside this church is filled of people coming to pay homage to y'all's mama. He said, do you know why? Because your mama tried to save everybody in this neighborhood for 40 years. My mama's church, my mama's funeral had hustlers at it, pimps, dope boys. All of them came to see my mama because she tried to save them all. He said, now, think about what your mama was to so many people. And think of all the things she shared with you. And me and my brothers and sisters started smiling. He said, now you listen. He said, joy and depression cannot reside in the same space.
That's right. That's good.
So look here, when you tripping and it's going bad for you and you start having grateful moments, joy and depression cannot reside in the same space. So when I wake up and I'm having a bad day, I pull out my grateful paper.
That's right.
That's inside my Bible. And I think everything I'm grateful for. I got about 75 things I thank him for every morning. Now I got about 125 things that I ask him for every morning. But I don't quit asking. Like we dreaming. That is what I say to parents to negate that. And then you got to understand that the dream is for everybody.
That's right.
So you got to start dreaming and wanting. You got every right to want a better life. You should not be poor. God didn't create you to be poor. You know, you can actually ask God for a life of wealth. And do you know he'll give it to you? Now, if you're willing, you got to do what you got to do the work now. And you know, if once I get a person to understand how to control, once you can control this, you can control your outcome. Life is 10% what happened to you, but it's 90% what you do about it. You know, death gonna happen. You're gonna get laid off. One of your companies gonna close. You know, your kids gonna do something ignorant that you told them not to do. You got to go down there and bail one of the ignorant ass out. I done had to go get 2 of my sons out of jail. They stupid ass. I told them I'd already been in jail several times. I told you I won't go down there. Because y'all rich kids, y'all.
So we're going to get just 2 more questions because Steve has another
dreaming in your kids. Like, how did you, even when you were struggling, how did you still instill that dream?
It's just one thing. I never, you know how you try to talk to your kids about, you got to study. You got to do your schoolwork. You got to get better grades. You should stop that. You can save yourself a lot of conversations with your kids by sitting your kids down quarterly and just ask them, if you could not fail, if there was no way you could fail, what would you do? What would you be? And let them talk and don't judge them. Winton used to tell me all the time, Daddy, I want to be a big time wrestler. Okay, cool. I went out and bought him a WWF wrestling championship belt. I didn't want this boy to be no damn wrestler. But here, man, here go a wrestling belt. He in that now. He ain't mentioned wrestling in 12 years. And he still got that belt somewhere at the house. But I talk to my kids quarterly about their dreams and visions. What do you want? And I don't judge it. Okay, well, what else you want? Okay, now what you want? What kind of car you want? Where you want to live? You want a summer home where? And I go over them. And I do it quarterly. Because let me tell you something, your kids' idea of what they want changes every 4 to 6 weeks. You ain't got to wait a year, man. I'm tripping. So once your child gets used to you coming to them going, okay, it's time to dream, they'll sit down with you and dream. They don't want to sit down and hear these lectures. Now guess what? If your child tells you, Dad, I want to learn how to fly an airplane one day, then guess what? Get her pictures of different airplanes. You want to fly private jets or you want to fly commercial? You get all that good stuff in them. Print it out, help him Google it, look it up, research it, and just talk about the good stuff. Then after you have that, the next day, after you gave him all these pictures of his dreams, say, okay, now, to be a pilot, let's go down what you got to do to be a pilot. Because they don't let stupid people fly planes. So now all of a sudden math and science
comes into play.
Is a requirement to fly the plane. Now, since you want to fly the plane and you want to fly private, you ain't got to beat him over the head about school no more. Because I got to do this to get to that. What we do is we just talk about the this and we never mention the that. And now the purpose for all this is daunting. And that's the best way to get it.
Okay, we got one last question.
Mr. Harvey, what do you hope?
Mr. Harvey, you talked about #MeToo, and it's kind of changed
Your
our
camera
environment.
too close.
Oh,
I don't look good. Them close.
You look beautiful
No, my
from
daughters
here.
have told me, Dad, when you take a selfie, you gotta hold the camera. You even. My nose finna look like a basketball.
You're beautiful. No, my question is about, you mentioned #MeToo, and it's really changed our environment, our society. What do you say to these young dreamers about how to treat one another in that regard?
Well, you know, I always have a conversation with the boys and girls together. And I always talk about respect to the young men, but I also talk to respect about the women. Because I tell young girls all the time, you can train a boy how to treat you simply by not accepting mistreatment. Now, if you don't accept mistreatment, hey shorty, what's your name, and all this here, if you don't respond to that, he has to find another way to address you. You don't have to respond to negative treatment. If you require a boy talking to you, but he keep texting you, all you got to do is not respond to the text. Now, guess what? If he want to talk to you or communicate, he gonna have to call you. You can train a boy how to treat you. I teach that to young girls over and over and over and over. We're very trainable. Because let me tell you something, if we want you, we're going to do what we got to do to get you. Marjorie retrained me because I wanted her. So she retrained me. Marjorie fixed me up. Y'all been watching me for years. Marjorie took all them big ass suits. After the second year of marriage, she said, okay, listen, Steve, I love you. I'm tired of being married to a pimp. We're going to take these big ass hats off. We're going to take all these big long coats off. We're going to tailor these suits down because God's going to take your life somewhere else. Yeah. I was married to Marjorie long before I wrote that book. I was married to Marjorie long before Family Feud. But she saw it coming, and I didn't. She said, Steve, when you go into mainstream America, you got to get these suits tailored down. She changed me. Men are very trainable. We're very teachable. All men can change. All men will change. But there's only one woman that we're going to change for. All the rest of y'all just get whatever it is. So if the man you're dealing with ain't making changes, it's because you're not it. But I teach this to young girls early. But I also turn around and I have a conversation with the young boys. Because you have to treat a young lady differently than what y'all doing, because y'all going about this the wrong way. That's my generation's fault. That's my generation's fault, because we were so busy benefiting from the civil rights movement, affirmative action. We first one in our family to hold job titles at the post office and, you know, all this stuff. We forgot to teach the generation behind us how to treat women. We let hip hop write lyrics about women that we should have never allowed them to write. We should have stopped them. We should have went up into the music world and went, hey, write another song about this black girl and say this and we're gonna stomp y'all. That's what we should have did. But guess what though? We on record labels was making so much money off of it, we allowed it to exist. And they know who they are. And they know who they are. They should have stopped. That's what a sellout is. That's what a real sellout is. A sellout is a person who, instead of dealing with the cause you originally was dealing with and promoting for a price of money, fame, or fortune, you sell out the cause to get the money, the fame, or the fortune. That's what a sellout is. People who use the word sellout don't know what it is. But we sold out our sisters. We sold them out. We should have stopped them a long time ago, because we the only race of people that talk about our women in our music. We the only race. We should have stopped that long time ago. We should. Asian people don't talk about their women. Jewish people don't talk about their women in music like that. We allowed them to talk about our women like that. We should have put our foot in their ass long time ago. But no, we was off too busy making the money off of it. And we was off, then people like me who wasn't in music was also busy trying to climb the ladder and make money. I wasn't paying close enough attention because I was homeless and trying to get myself together. And I looked up, man, and we had allowed something to start existing. Once we let them change the way music was written, Because now you singing about it. It's got a beat to it. It's a melody to it now. I got holes in different area codes. It's to a beat now. Wait a minute, hold up, dog. We could never put that in our song back then. We was Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. We wrote, "Oh, I Miss You." We was Lenny Williams, man. We wrote